Hi all, Christine Beyer here, and welcome to the Christine Beyer Beauty Club. The first thing I wanted to kick off with is an area that everybody's always belly aching about, including myself, and it is using microcurrent on the neck and the jowl area. So essentially trying to lift all of this, which I can tell you is no easy feat. Which is why people get facelifts, right? Because who doesn't look better when you do this? You know, we all look better when we do that. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to start on a clean face. And if you can do this laying down, I really like it better laying down because, you know, that is the way we're trying to force the muscles over and over. We're trying to retrain them, right? I do it sitting up because it's just easier to take the video that way. But if you could lay down and do your mini, I just think the results are a little bit better. And I could be completely delusional, but I figure every little bit helps. So we're working with gravity in that case. I want to start with a clean face. My face is clean except for my eyebrows that I drew on because I have none. And you want to, you can exfoliate with something nourishing, or, you know, just scrub away the day. You could do a quickie, because microcurrent really does take better when there's not a bunch of dead cellular debris in the way, occluding the current. And plug your mini into a USB port, or you can plug your mini into one of these little guys. It's by On, and it's like this original one. The model number is ONA 17W, looks like an I, 023. I don't know if that captures that. They are the cheapest ones they sell, and they're always in the back by the electronics. And for some reason, if these are more updated and they have a button on them, it doesn't work. So you want to just get the cheap ones. I think they're between $4 and $5 at Walmart. And it's the make is On, and this is what works best for me. When we think about what we're working on mostly the platysma, right? Because that's what you see. Now, when you turn your head, you're going to see the sternocleidomastoid on either side. And for most people, this is very tight and contracted. Why? Because we're looking down all the time. And so I like to start this out, and I've done videos on this in the past, and it does work really well, where I am just grabbing the rope that is the sternocleidomastoid on either side. And this can be a little tender. You don't want to pinch super hard. It can be a little tender, especially if you have never done much work on this area. But I do this to every client because it is just an epidemic of short sternocleidomastoid SEMs because of all the tablet and the phone work that people do, and texting and stuff. So yes, this is what they call text neck. And so when you start to work up and down this muscle, it helps get fresh blood in there. It helps the lymph drain from the entire face, and it starts to thin out the neck in a really lovely way. And if you have a short, sort of stout neck like me, you'll be excited about this. But even if you don't, this makes everything lay better and drain better once you do it. Now, you won't have to do this every single day, but just keep in mind how much we use our phones and what that makes this do. And it just sort of contracts everything and slows drainage down, and the area can't look as nice as it would. So for video purposes, I'm just using water. If you have sensitive skin, you can use, you know, mineral water, spring water, anything with some mineral content to it. You can take tap water if you want to and put some Celtic or Himalayan sea salt in it, something with a high mineral profile, and that will be completely conductive. You can take your favorite gel-based mask and put just a half a pinch, I'm not talking about a lot, just a half a pinch of some salt in there, but high mineral profile, like pink salt, something that you can tell has a lot of minerals in it, because the minerals is what carry the current. And so I'm always on the lookout for really nourishing microcurrent gel. But the truth is, you can take your favorite moisturizer, as long as it has no acids, I would say no retinol, it's nothing penetrating or too penetrating, and you can take that and you can mix it 1 part gel mask, 1 part water, and put the tiniest bit of sea salt in there, and you're conducting. So not many people know that, and I think there are a lot of manufacturers that take advantage of that. So I'm just doing some water here. I've put a little pinch of sea salt. If you're into organic, there's this Alive and Jelly, and a girlfriend of mine who's in my coaching group, she came up with this because she wanted an organic microcurrent gel that you could use, and it is a nice quality product. So you can see just the tiniest bit of salt. I'm not even going to use all of it. Use half a pinch. If you have a fan brush, it's actually easier, or you can take a spray bottle and spray the area. So in the mini instructions, it talks about going up and down and sideways. Now, on my particular neck, I don't look good when I go up and down. There's also something about the neck that you should know. If you're doing the mini, I would suggest doing your face mostly in the beginning and just skimming over your neck to start, which I know sounds crazy, but there's something that happens if you overwork the neck before you have lifted the very fine muscles in the face. You can get what's called face drop, and it's like the strong muscles of the neck pull down the face, and you'll know it when it happens. It's not pretty. So this would be definitely part of a longer treatment where you do your face, because we don't want to get face drop. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and just do some lifting here. Now, I know I'm going too fast. Way too fast. The Clairblend people are always yelling at me for that. So what we're going to do, let me show you what we're working on here, because I think it's easier with a visual. This actually has the platysma cut away. So here's the sternocleidomastoids and all these really thick, ropey muscles that hold up your head. And there is a sheet that is the platysma that runs, it inserts right here, and it runs all the way down right here. So it goes all the way down like this. And that is what you start to see rope up and form like little bands on either side. It's called platysma banding. And that is caused from a loss of fat, collagen, bone. And so this soft packet that is around our skeleton sort of starts to fall forward, and we lose volume through our jaw. And so this all starts to fall forward. And what you're seeing when you see a platysma band, which I have the beginnings of them, is that platysma that has rolled over itself. It's bunched up. Nice, right? So that's what that is, and that's what we're going to be trying to unroll and smooth. Okay, so just keep that in mind, that you want to do the face as well, and you want to make sure that your face muscles are really built up before you start working just on the neck. It's just not a great idea to overwork the neck before the face is stable. So I'm just going to do the sideways movements, and you can feel the platysma. You'll feel it sort of pulling from here as you go around. And I'm just doing this. I like to do a flick up in front of the ear. A flick in front of the ear. And then I also like this too. I tend to like to anchor areas. I like to do this. I like to grab a purchase of skin just like this. Oh gosh, I guess it's working. I did a fibroblast treatment to tighten this area, and I can't really even grab the skin anymore, which is kind of cool. So I'll grab a roll of skin, especially in this high payoff area. The high payoff areas are going to be the whole face, but if you have excess tissue right here, what I'll do is put the prongs on either side. That's what I'm saying. And so I'm taking a whole purchase of skin and just try to shorten that muscle right there. And this does bring fullness to the area and does help sort of anchor everything in that you do. And it's not hard to do. You can actually just push the face up like this. Take one of the prongs, dig it into in front of the ear, and the other one like that. So try not to touch the prong with your finger, well, like I was just doing. Okay, it feels like it's doing something already. So yeah, so on the platysma, work it to the side. If you have sort of a short fat neck, work it to the side mostly, but try it both ways. I mean, if you have a weathered looking neck, it wouldn't be a bad idea to give it some microcurrent in all these different directions. And this is, I'm just doing sort of a spray, a microcurrent spray to get some current on the whole area. Okay, so you would continue on. You'll do 3 strokes each area, going very slow. Wait for the beep, and let me show you what that looks like. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I'm in front of the ears, and that's how I do that. Can you do one more? So next, you've released the sternocleidomastoid, you've worked it from side to side, and at this point you would just do your upward movements. And it shows stopping here. I like to keep going because that platysma ends about right here, right? It's inserted. So what you want to do is follow it to the end, right? Follow it to the end. And I will make a little sacrifice here and do up and down on my neck so that I can show you. And remember, it would be much slower. And I just like to go all the way to the end of that platysma, not the end of my neck. So I want that to work all together since it is one giant sheath of a muscle. So I kind of show you what happens on me. Oh, that didn't look bad. I am my own worst critic, for sure. Now, this actually works better if you're laying down. But you've released the SCM, you have done horizontal and vertical movements. Now we're going to work up around the ear. And I got this move from Grace, from, what is it, Amazing Grace Skincare? I can't remember. True Grace Skincare. And I'm just going up behind the ear, starting at the jaw, feeling that muscle there, because this gets all bunched up there too. And then I like to hold just this area. I actually like to sort of scoop this, or right at the jawline, scoop that. This is another one of those where I'm trying to get a little roll of muscle and taking it up. I don't know if you can see that. So yeah, we're just taking that side up. And usually this area is very compressed and dehydrated on people. So just getting this to sort of open up and getting fresh blood and lymphatic drainage to that area can pop this out, which will bring this up, which brings this up. It's all a win-win. Okay, my face is dried out again. And I love being able to use 2 minis at once because, like right now, I'm between clients. It's funny, these minis, they're just still a great tool. They're a great microcurrent machine, you know, even though they are not professional. I mean, if you've been studying microcurrent like me, you know that like less is more with microcurrent. You don't have to have these really expensive machines to get good results. As a matter of fact, oh, Philip, what is Philip's last name? He does, Philip's, cannot remember this guy's last name. So he's an esthetician. He's in the UK. He's an electronics nerd. He does a bunch of reviews, like 4-part reviews. And so he did a 4-part review on the Mini, and you can Google it, just Mini review on Google. And he was saying that this got a better lift around his eyes than his $20,000 Casey machine. Now, Casey is a British-made face and body microcurrent machine that Jennifer Lopez bought one. I doubt she's doing her own treatments, but she bought one. And he says that the Mini lifted the eyes better. And I'm like, I understand. I completely understand how that could happen because it is, you know, it's got those randomized frequencies. It is wonderful for giving the muscles a workout that they can't acclimate to. You know, they never know what's coming. They never know which one of those randomized frequencies are going to hit. So it will be like really superficial, deep muscle, deep lymph. And so since it's hitting the skin at all these different levels, the muscle's kind of like, doesn't know, you know. It's not going to contract if it's true microcurrent, but it's also never going to acclimate to using the Mini, which is nice because then that means every treatment is really worth it. Every treatment is like doing cross training rather than taking a walk. So we look at like some of the big names in professional microcurrent units. So like biotherapeutic, they used to be the everything, you know, what, 10, 15 years ago. And then TAMA came along. There's a lot of professional lines, professional ones that are out now that are really good. But he had the biotherapeutic guy, what's his name? Something Suzuki, but he had the Suzuki sequencing. You can tell by their advertising he's a little bit into himself, but makes a great microcurrent machine. So that same sort of, well, his are not randomized. His work in a different way, but that same level of sophistication is in these home unit devices, which is really cool. Okay, so at this point, I'm just doing an eye lift and sort of giving my face a once over because I said you really don't want to you don't want to work just the neck, or you can get what's called face drop. Just not a pretty look where your neck is competing with your face in strength. Not pretty. Don't do that. Always work your face as well as your neck. As a matter of fact, biotherapeutic came up with that concept of, for the first 7 treatments, 7, yeah, say you're doing a series of 12, like the first 7 treatments, they don't even work the neck, which to me is criminal. I would rather get a little bit of current on there to start the rejuvenation process for the neck, because many people have very weathered necks because they sort of forget their neck. They'll do all their skincare to their face and it ends right here. And I'm like, wait, we can see that. We can see that. They don't even want people to do a full face and neck until the 8th treatment. I would definitely give, get started on your face, do the whole routine, but I would definitely, especially if you have a heavier neck like me, but I think it pertains to all necks really. Now this move you don't always want to do if you have hooded eyes. You want to make sure that this is lifted nicely before you do this move. But if your eyes are on the thin side and you don't have a lot of excess tissue there, this is a great move to sort of thicken up that area and widen the eyes, because as we get older, the eye tissue, there's actually padding behind the eyeballs, and that loses volume as well. So we have not been able to figure out how to remedy that, but so you'll see people as they get older and older, their eyeballs get smaller and smaller. Eyeballs are the same size. What's happening is that they're falling back into the head, which is kind of creepy, kind of sad. It's aging. Okay, so we've released this, worked this, and then worked up around here behind the ear and in front of here, and then the entire platysma all the way up. All right, so that would be how you would work the jowls. Jowls are tricky, but you can always do cross, because there's actually a fat pad right here. And I think that starts to show on most of us as we get older, unless you've had buccal fat pad removal. And they just go in and take that fat out. So this move, which is from the instructions, works well for that. Do not underestimate this move. And then remember, anytime you're doing things above it, it's going to help. It's going to lift. Whatever you do to the upper face lifts the area right below it. And so on this, like for this jowl, I'm just bringing it up. Oh yeah. So I mean, I love the minis, and I love microcurrent because there's so many different ways to use it. See how that lifted? It's strange, but there's tiny muscles that go that way. And then, but this is a pocket of fat, and so we work the platysma over it, and then there are a bunch of muscles that come around here. This helps as well. And I always tell people it's a good idea to go to Google and do an image search for facial muscles. And you'll find one that you like and get one that's from the front and get one that's from the side, laminate it, and put it near where you work, right? So you can refer to it as you work. All right, so that is day 1 of our mini lower facelift. And I just want to welcome you to the club and expect more content like this. If there's anything you want me to do a video on, let me know. I'll talk to you soon. Bye now.